Okay, I'd like to call the Miami Valley Communications Council Board meeting for Wednesday, September 21st. I'd like to call that to order. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we could get a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Joanne Round.
Present.
Brooks Compton.
Present.
George Bayless.
Present.
Lisa Duval.
Present.
Bob Scott.
Present.
And I don't think Mayor Collins has joined yet. Don Burchett.
Present.
Rob Stevens.
Here.
Keith Tilton.
Here.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to get approval of the August 17th board meeting minutes.
I move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Legislation, we have a resolution 2022-011 updating contracting authority thresholds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Right now, our threshold is $25,000. The Ohio Revised Code allows us to go up to $50,000, so we would like your permission to do so. That will help in our negotiations and discussions as it pertains to larger ticket items. That way we don't have to do, bid documents and things like that, but we'll still get competitive quotes and things on large ticket items. And then we put an escalator clause in there, so as the Ohio Revised Code, as that number bumps up, ours will bump up automatically as well.
Excellent. Any other questions on that? If none, can I get a motion?
Move for approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Resolution 2022-012, authorizing the executive director to enter into an agreement to sell Horizon 12 strands of unlit fiber assets.
So in May, you'll recall, we drafted similar legislation because at that time we thought that Horizon was going to buy our empty conduit. However, as those discussions evolved, they finally decided to buy 12 strands of fiber. So this is the resolution authorizing me to sign a contract for that to happen. The plan is that that transfer will probably take place latter part of September, and we should be getting the proceeds from that sale shortly thereafter. And then that money will go into the technology fund that you created also in May.
Jay, quick question. What was the amount involved?
MVCC's amount will be about $244,000.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good deal.
Wonderful. Can I get a motion to approve 2022-012?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. Thank you. Moving on, new business. Sheila, do you have a financial report? Okay.
I really do not have anything new to report. We are well within our budget on expenses. Our revenue are pretty much as anticipated at this point. Our focus has been on the budget. We're getting that squared away and working on the presentation and information to give you about the budget. Does anyone have any questions?
When is it anticipated the budget will be presented?
November, probably.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. I see Michelle is here. Did you get her down? Hello, Michelle. Did you get her? There she is. Did you get her?
I can't be there in person.
No, no worries, no worries. Just want to make sure you were present and accounted for. Excellent. All righty. Executive Director's Report. Jay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, just a few items, and I will be brief. Sheila has been waiting on getting the second quarter franchise fees from Charter. We got those a couple of weeks ago, so now she can kind of put the final touches on the preliminary budget. We set up a meeting just this morning to try and get together with the Finance and Personnel Committee, chaired by Joanne Rao. Hopefully we're going to try and do that first part of November. And then, as Sheila just mentioned, our plan would be then to present the budget at what we hope will be our last meeting of the year, and that would take place on November 16th. So mark your calendars accordingly. I don't think we'll be meeting in October, so our next meeting then would be November 16th. It's too bad that Brian Wofsik's not here today, because I have some good news to share with you on Germantown. Earlier this year, Hanson Communications finalized the purchase of Consolidated Fiber and Consolidated Communication. Consolidated is Germantown's cable provider. Over the past several months, Hanson has been basically going through the assets that they acquired, and they discovered that there was already some conduit in the ground that they didn't know about in a number of Germantown neighborhoods and also in that area around Germantown. So what was originally hopefully going to be maybe a mid to late 2023 fiber to the home project has now been moved up. I think they've already started some work in German Township, and I think they're going to start some work here shortly in Germantown as a result of finding this conduit that they didn't know existed. Great news, obviously, for Germantown, but also some positive news for MVCC in Germantown as well, is that Hanson has indicated they will work very closely with us and also with IFN to hopefully get Germantown hooked up onto the Gateway Fiber network. So that'll be a big deal for us, obviously a big deal from Germantown, so that's something that we'll be working on in the coming weeks and months. So that's all good news as it relates to Germantown. And again, I'm sorry Brian's not here today to chime in on this. And then finally, in your package, you probably saw a summary of volunteers, MVCC staff members, and the programming that had either won Philo Awards or are finalists for Philo Awards. The Philo Awards are kind of the Emmy Awards of community media. We're part of the Central States region, and that includes Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and Michigan. So it's a big deal. We never take these things lightly, and Richard Diaz, one of our producers, mentioned the other day during a staff meeting that since 1986, MVCC has received 256 Philo Awards. So that's roughly 6 or 7 a year on average, and that's really something that's very impressive. So we're very proud of everyone who submitted nominations for that. And at a future meeting, we will certainly congratulate the winners this year. So just wanted to mention to you, again, that's something we certainly don't take for granted, but we do have a lot of talented people who work here full-time, and also a number of volunteers who spend many, many hours on programming as well. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have right now. If anybody has any other questions, I'll be happy to try and answer those.
I have one question, Jake, semi-related. What's the latest on the consortium for AES?
Oh, okay. We are working on paperwork right now on that, Bob. We are working with Palmer Energy and OML. That's the program that we're involved in. I'm also working with our legal counsel on some bylaws and things. There are some submittals we have to make to the PUCO, so that all goes as part of the preliminary process to get final approval for all this.
So we're probably still looking sometime into 2023.
Our hope is to have all of that stuff completed by year's end, and then we're going to take a look at the markets during the first quarter of the year, and if the markets look favorable, we'll go out and take some quotes. If we get some favorable pricing, then hopefully communities will be able to open that up to their residents then during the second quarter of 2023.
Great.
That's what we're shooting at.
My checkbook will thank. Once I get my AES bill, every little bit helps.
Every few cents helps, that's for sure.
And on that same, yeah, my question is there anything happening with the gas company similarly?
We're going to offer both gas and electric.
Okay.
Okay, so those, for communities who are wishing to do both of those options, they'll have that opportunity, George.
Okay,
Okay?
that's got my catering vote.
Jay, you've seen the markets at this point. Do you, from the standpoint of being able to provide a real financial benefit, do you see that coming from aggregation, or is it a matter that you're just going to be kind of nibbling at the edges here?
Brooks, I think if you had an expert sitting here, they would tell you that the markets go like this, and it all depends on when you're out there trying to find pricing and what you can lock in at a particular time. I guess the bottom line with aggregation is what it guarantees is that you're getting a market competitive rate at that time. It may not be the lowest market rate, but it's a competitive market rate. You may be able to go out and save a few cents per kilowatt hour on your own. But again, I think aggregation in the long run, it makes sure that you have competitive market pricing. I guess we're hopeful that whatever rate we can achieve will be able to save people some money over what they pay right now for either their electric or their gas.
Can I add something to that, Jay? Basically what Mark Schweder's told us on the Catering Council is, we're not going to totally eliminate the increase. You're going to get an increase, it's just going to mitigate it somewhat. It's still going to be a noticeable increase. Maybe it reduces the increase by, if the factor was 4 and now it's 10, maybe we get to a 7. So it's not going back to what it was.
Now, are they requiring a minimum participation to keep this afloat? I mean, AES?
No, I was just going to mention that Brooks and I had a brief conversation not too long ago, and I told him, Keith, that the more households we can have in this program, the more rooftops. I mean, that's what we're looking for because that's what energy suppliers are looking for. So the more participation we have, the better rates that we're going to get. So that's right now, I'm focusing my attention on that too, trying to get more communities involved.
So the thought concept, as we were talking about, was that it was not a matter of opting in that's more effective. It's the idea of your particular jurisdiction is if you negotiate with the idea that those who do not want to participate opt out, as opposed to those who want to participate opt in.
From a supplier's standpoint, they much prefer opt-out programs because they get a participation rate of about 80% there. The opt-in participation rate is about 20 to 25%.
Catering's going for the opt-out
Okay.
for now. And
I think-
I'd be shocked if we change.
Yeah,
Yeah, good for
I
you.
agree.
Excellent. Anything else? Thank you, Jay. I don't have much. All I have is I want to congratulate all the Philo Award winners, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in a future meeting so we can do it personally. And then also, I'm still very excited about the Horizon contract, and we're seeing money after all this time. I can't even remember when did we start the project?
2014 was when they first got the grant, so it's been
So my college degree, I'm going to say 8 years.
8 years.
Jay. 8 years, Jay.
Yep.
8 years, and we're seeing some money come in now.
Yep.
We knew it would take a while, so it's not a negative
Right.
that it's been 8 years. It's just,
Right.
I'm excited that we're seeing it, and we'll put it into that fund that we created, and hopefully do some good things for our communities.
Yep, and
Excellent.
we've got some folks out there who are interested in the conduit, so we're having those discussions as well.
Put your sales hat on.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, let me know if you need help with that.
Rob, 8 years, I never knew you were a doctor.
Yes, 8 years. 8 years, how about that? How about that? I have a lot of titles. Doctor is not one of them. All right, any board comments or community updates? Anything anyone would like to share or talk about? Anything? No, we're trying to have the quickest meeting in the history of MVCC here.
You can mention Oktoberfest is coming up October 2nd in Centerville at Stubbs Park.
Oh.
It's a fall fest, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's going to have all the goodies that they've had in previous years with the pumpkin patch and petting zoo and all kinds of activities for kids, inflatables. So.
That's Saturday, October 2nd?
Sunday.
Sunday, October 2nd at Stubbs Park.
Correct.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I can mention in Moraine this Saturday at 10 o'clock, we're having a gravity games, and that's going to be on the big hill on Main Street, and you can park right at the Payne Rec Center.
Payne Rec Center parking, gotcha. Excellent, in Moraine, okay.
I'll mention one additional thing. Officer John Calaman's golf outing is this, memorial golf outing is this Friday at Yankee Trace. Officer Calaman was one of a police officer from Centerville who was killed in an accident on a very miserable, snowy morning, in February of 1996, I believe. No, 1998. And firefighter Robert O'Toole was also killed the same day. But this has been, his parents, Paula and John Callahan, have put on this event every year since his passing, and it's become a very successful. It's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for scholarships for individuals from our area, not exclusively Centerville, but from the area itself, that go on to further their education, oftentimes in criminal justice or something, but that's not a requirement. So it's a very nice event. So.
Excellent. Thank you, Brooks. Anything else? I think that'll do it. Our next meeting, as Jay mentioned, will probably be November 16th, but he'll be sending emails out to verify we do not need a meeting in October. And we'll look for everyone to be there on November 16th and enjoy the next couple of weekends. All righty. Thank you.